Hey everybody, it's that time again. I'm here to help you get your house in order, and let's have a little fun while we do it. We've thrown the dogs out back. Let's see if we can show the puppy dogs to the people. There's Tulip, and Loki's guarding his food. Poor Tulip. Anyway, she's outside playing, having a good time. But I have one of our newest feather dusters that just came in, and just look how pretty these things. That purple is so purpley, it makes me happy. Look how bright that is, and it is just feels so good in your hand. And right now, if you didn't get the Easter egg a while ago that I sent out, check it out, because we got a special discount for everybody till Easter Sunday. So check out that. You got to go click on the Easter egg that was in the message I sent out. If you're not getting our messages, you're missing out. So sign up to get our messages if you're not getting them. So there's a little join button at the top of our homepage, flylady.net. So look how these feathers are. They're just, each little feather.
What kind of feathers are they?
Those are ostrich feathers. Justin's helping me, by the way. Say hi, Justin.
Hello, everybody.
This has so many little tiny feathers on it. I don't know if you can make them out, but that's what makes a feather duster work. Now, I'm going to demonstrate it on a table I haven't dusted since yesterday, because yesterday we left the doors open so the dogs could come in and out. And the dust was flying. They're doing some construction at the end of our property, and dust is going. They're hammering stuff down into making a new bridge, so it's getting through the trees to us. But I want to show you how well a feather duster works. Now, people ask me, how do you hold a feather duster? Well, I like to hold it kind of like a pencil, but it's according to where you're dusting, how you hold it. So if you're going to dust your feather fan in your living room, you just kind of want to turn it, don't do it while the fan's going, but this will get everything kind of clean. So when you turn the fan on, it'll be good to go. So let's get a picture of this table. Now, we have to separate the dogs to feed them. So I keep a little jar of food and a water bottle for water, because we keep the Tulip's food right there. But you can see how dirty this table is. Now I'm just going to take these things off. Oh yeah, dust me. Dust me. Does anybody ever write that on your furniture? There's a little piece of food. We'll go in the bowl. But you got to see, now if you haven't dusted in a long time, you may have to get a silver rag to do the dusting first. But a damp silver rag will clean all this stuff up. But I want you to see how good this does. And with a black window shade, lamp shade, just want you to see. You're just wiping the dust. Look, you can see that real good where the...
So a lady asked a question, how does it hold the dust? What makes it so special that it holds all
These
of the dust?
little tiny feathers do that.
So each feather has, what do you call that? A little tiny quill. Looks like a little
Well,
fish
the
hook.
whole thing is the quill, but each little feather has lots of little feathers. And you and I have tied flies, and these little ostrich feathers are great for tying flies. But they collect it.
So what do you do after you get a big chunk of dust on them?
Well, we can continue dusting, because there's lots of room. Now, I'm going to get over here in this corner. Let me get turned around so I don't lose anything. And we have a lot of electronic equipment over here. And when you're getting around stuff, you can just twirl it. Just twirl it. And just look how the dust comes right off. And if you've got books, like we have this clock, And we got all these albums. And then we got equipment. Lots of equipment. And here's our family pictures. That's my grandmother. This is Robert's grandparents. Ethan and Sarah and Emily and Justin and the kids. But just look how it gets all this dust up. There's even a point right back here. We have a little flashlight that we use quite often right there. And all our little dog pictures. But that's how it does. Now, the dust was so bad yesterday, the fireplace, the mantle here, is covered up.
Is it safe to use on the TV?
Yes. You want to stay with the tips. And I don't know if you can see it. I got Apple TV going here with a picture of a night sky somewhere in the world. But we get a shot of the dust. And you see how much dust I've gotten up. This is Robert's famous little fire starter that he's made.
So what's the trick? Is it you just need to go slow across the surface?
Yeah, you need to go slow. Now, we've got the keyboard here. Now let me show you how dusty this keyboard is. I think you can get you can dust around them, but I want to show you how dusty it is. And then we have some fake antique guns up here on the cabinet that Robert made. They're flintlock guns. One of the silly ancestors was killed in a duel because of, you can look it up on Wikipedia.
What do you do after it's full of dust this one, lady? Do you shake it out?
Yeah, we're going to do that in a second, but we're going to let it collect lots of dust. Now, this is a bird feeder my mother-in-law carved. Well, she didn't carve. Robert gave her this piece of laurel. Oh, we got to help her. And then I like to collect rocks. And there's some delicate stuff right here that, I mean, it's pretty delicate. Little hand-blown glass. And my mother-in-law carved that. But I think it's time to bless the world with the dust that I've collected. And I'm trying to figure out where. Oh, here's another table. Back. The critters like to get in there. I haven't done the floors today either, so I'm just going to take the dirt out of the orchid and I'm more rock collection. And we're going to head out on the front porch. The cat's going to come with me. And I sure hope y'all can see this. We're blessing the world and the wind's just taking it away. You don't want to bless it and stand in front of it as you do it.
So, Fly Lady, where's your dust going?
It's going out into do a few out here too. Oh, there's a cobweb, and I've got the duster all hung up in we're out here anyway, so let's just dust away one more time. And here is where I store my dusters. This is a duster we had once upon a time. But doesn't that look pretty in there? These are all the dusters we've had over the years. This makes a good addition to my collection of our prototypes. Anyway, we ready to do a show? What else have I got to tell them?
You want to tell them a little bit about, we had one question earlier about the silver rags. What's the difference between our different colors rags? And we had, I think the one was about the purple rags. So.
Okay, we have 3 types of rags. We have purple, we have silver, and we have bronze. Now, come with me into the kitchen, and here's a bronze one. This one's brand new. It's not been washed yet. This one's been laundered a couple of times. And here is a purple one that has been laundered a lot of times.
So what's our current special we have going on right now?
We have these half price, which is you get 3 for $7. 3 of them.
And what are they made out of?
Microfiber cloth. They are the same fabric, just different colors. I keep the bronze ones on the arm of my chair because I like the way it feels. It's not as rough as the fabric that I have on the chair. Pardon me. Anyway, so we have a pack of 3 for $7.
Half price.
Half price. And they are great tools for everything from taking your makeup off. If you hadn't seen Liz's video, watch that video that she and I put together last week. You can take your makeup off with them. I've done my kitchen counters today because yesterday we left the door open and dust came in, and along with the dust was about 1 million black flies. Can't stand them. So today I've been wiping down windowsills and countertops, and because Robert killed flies yesterday evening after I cooked dinner. I wouldn't let him do it while I was cooking dinner. Okay, well, I think it's time for me to go to the back room and do our regular stuff, but that's just the beginning. It didn't take me long. Well, my hands over the I need to turn the around. There we are. So, yep, we're good. I'm going to head to the studio, lock the door behind you. Okay, and I will see y'all later. I'm going to see him later. Bye. Bye. Mwah. And we'll get on with the show. Here we go. Get in here and get us all set up. The dogs are not going to be happy that I've left them outside. There we go. How are we? Yeah. Oh, he's giving me another dust. Move that curtain. It makes everything look green. Yeah. Pull them all the way over. Yeah, that gets more light in. Here we are. Get it all situated. I didn't realize how much Justin and Brandon sound alike. Justin's voice is a little raspy today. He had, they went on a mini spring vacation this week to Dollywood. We're only a couple of hours from Dollywood. And he screamed like a girl on the rides along with his buddies. Yeah, there we are. Anyway, I don't know what happened. My video feed froze. I don't know if I'm stuck. But see, in 15 minutes, I got a lot of my living room dusted. And it's not even been 15 minutes. I kicked my table. So this week we've been talking about making things fun. We did a fun show last week with playing some good music to get things done. We got Easter coming up, and those of you who have little children, you got to get these Easter baskets done up. If you're having dinner at home, we're having dinner at home this year, and I've already got stuff in the refrigerator to cook for Easter dinner. I just have to cook it, and I'm not making a big deal out because it's just me and Robert. But he does like deviled eggs. He really does like deviled eggs. So I will be making him some eggs, but I have a fun way to do it. When you have to cook a lot of them, and I don't like the way eggs smell when they're cooking in boiling water. So I have learned how to do them in my oven. Now you might need to do a test batch just because your oven may cook hotter than mine. So Liz is going to post the link to the angel eggs, and if you just search our website for angeled eggs, and you can find it, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to make these eggs in your oven. Now the secret to them not cracking in your oven is to make sure they're room temperature before you get started. So I like to leave my eggs out overnight so that I know that they're room temperature. Because if they're in a styrofoam container, that sometimes holds the cold in. So make them be room temperature, and then put them on the grate in your rack in the oven, and then turn your oven on. Don't put it in a hot oven. Put the eggs on the rack and then turn the oven on. And I think the temperature's 325, but don't hold it to me. I believe I looked at that, and I don't have anything to check it with. So if somebody, Liz, check and make sure the temperature's 325. And cook them for exactly 30 minutes. Now, if you don't have anything to hold the eggs before you're going to slice them in half and take the yellows out of them, I usually do this a couple of days ahead of time so that the eggs are firm when I slice them and I put them back in the freezer. You can wash those egg cartons out in hot soapy water and dry them out, and then you can put the peeled eggs in the egg carton. And you can do that while the eggs are cooking, because you can stay in the kitchen and you can hear your timer so that you know that they're done. Another thing I like to do is get the water in the sink ready. And it's got to be cold water. So you're going to take the rack out of the oven. Don't try to do it one at a time or they'll overcook. And if you're trying to keep them, from cracking, and you're gonna make if you're gonna make Easter eggs out of them, then you just you're gonna let them cool off in the cold water and set them up and let them dry, and then you're not gonna peel them. So you need to be careful with them when you dump them in the cold water, because if you don't want them to crack. But I would do a small batch just to test your oven for the temperature, and then that way you'll know if your temperature in your oven is a little bit too hot or too cold. But 325 works for me, and they are perfectly done. And I don't say the word perfect very often. Do you hear me? I don't say that often. But when they are done, they're not green yolks. The whites are firm, and you can do a whole lot of them. You really can. So try it. Try a few and just see if it works for you. I like to use, if you're going to peel them, I like to use eggs that are older. So like at Thanksgiving, I have Robert buy the eggs 3 weeks ahead of time, and we get a pretty good stash of them in our refrigerator, and then I can do them whenever I want to do them because I know that they're 3 weeks old. Eggs, they don't spoil like people think they do. Anyway, that's how I do the eggs. Now, decorating the eggs, that's a whole different story. You can do lots of fun things with some food coloring and food coloring and shaving cream, and just, you can have a lot of fun decorating eggs if you want to. And if you have time, and if you've got a clean kitchen and you can get the kids involved, you can have a good time doing this, but your kitchen's got to be clean. You don't want to add to the mess. It's all about having fun, but you got to have fun in a clean kitchen because you don't want to do it. Or go out on a picnic table and make the mess outside. That's even better. And purple rags really do help get the stuff up. If you want purple eggs, when you get a new supply of purple rags, just wrap the egg in the purple rag, and the purple will get. There's dye in the purple rags, but there's not as much dye. There's not any dye in the silver rags and the bronze rags. You can't tell what they are, but we have the silver rags. You bake the eggs, yes, instead of boiling them. Yes, I bake the eggs in the oven instead of boiling them. Read the directions on the link that Liz has posted. Yes, they're baked eggs in the shell. If you overcook them, though, they're going to explode. So don't do that. Do you hear me? Don't do that. You got to stay right with them. 30 minutes exactly. Set your timer. 30 minutes. I don't know where I learned this. Somebody told me about it one time, and I tried it, and it just makes it so easy. So easy. I would do a big old pot of eggs, and there would always be 3 or 4 that were messed up, and this way they never get messed up. Let's see, what else is going on? Today's Maundy, Thursday, and there's lots of church services around to go see, and to go think about Holy Week. It's a big time for Christians, and Passover for our Jewish friends. It's time to center ourselves and think about how blessed we are to be. How long do your rags last? Rebecca says. And it's spelt like in the Bible, Rebecca. I've got the originals, and we've been selling them probably 12 years. I've never worn one out. Now, the hem might get frayed a little, but it's a rag. It is what it is. Rags get used and the hem gets frayed. I mean, I can show you. This is a brand new one, and it's got a salvaged hem on it. But, eventually, if you use it and wash it and use it and wash it, it could come a little frayed. I can make this one fray, but I've washed them and dried them and done for years, and I've never worn one out. I've never even ruined one. And I've cleaned fireplace brick with them. I'll probably do that next week. Clean some fireplace brick with a purple one. I wouldn't do it with a silver one. I might do it with a bronze one because they're the color of dirt. But they really get stuff up like you wouldn't believe. They get things up. Let's see, do we have any more questions? Next question. I mean, these rags change the whole housekeeping aspect for me. I use them in the bathtub. I use them in the kitchen. And that's why I wanted different colors, because you bake the eggs at 325. I use them in by my chair if I spill something, because they're very absorbent. What's the difference in the colors? Just the color. That's it. There's no other difference. They're still the same fabric. And what are you serving? I've got a ham. I'm going to have a ham and probably a broccoli salad and let's see, angeled eggs and probably some corn, because Robert likes Granny's corn. That's what we call the corn I cook. It's after my grandmother used to make the best corn. I used to help her put it up, and it was just amazing. And we'll talk about putting away corn in the summertime. But you can get these tubes of corn at the grocery store that look like sausage in the freezer section. And what I do is I get a tube of white and 2 tubes of yellow and put a stick of butter and a stick of butter in it and bake it in the oven, and it's done. So we have another. Can the duster be used more quickly? Let me see what. Oh, that's more quickly, or will the dust not stay in? Yes, it can be used quicker. I've feather dusted my whole house, but the places I had left undusted yesterday, I wanted to show you how it picked it up. You can run around your house and feather dust like in 2 minutes, but I wanted to show you how to do it. And to get it, if you've got lots of little whatnots, which I do on my bookshelves, I wanted to do it easily in there because I didn't want to make a bigger mess than I would have had. Yes, the corn, you can put some, I get sidetracked looking at all these questions. So the corn is amazing. It really is. We call it Granny's corn because Granny used to put it up. Please tell us how you started writing a book. What format? Word. Do you have a better suggestion? A better suggestion. How do you find a good editor? Thank you. I need some direction and trust. Well, Rosemary, here's the thing about, I've never worked with an editor until this time. I have gotten editors after the fact, and we made a few changes in Sync Reflections. But what I did, Sync Reflections came out of our email list. We used to be with Yahoo groups, and I started writing essays every day. And after a year of doing that, I had written a lot of things. And in 2 weeks, I took those essays that I had written and edited them and put them in a format of a book. Now, I'm working with a wonderful editor now out of San Francisco. She's with Seal Press, and I'm so excited to work with her. We're just having the best time, and we're on our last rounds of edits, and we're picking out images to go in the book, and you're just gonna love this. But the main thing you got to do is write. Don't wait for the perfect editor or the perfect way to publish the book. You just have to write, and your house needs to be clean or you won't write. So take some time to get your house in order, and then set up a routine every morning to get up and get dressed to lace up shoes, to fix your hair and your face so that you don't scare yourself when you go in the bathroom. And then that way, the house isn't going to be pulling you away from your writing. I had a rule. I would write for 3 hours or 10 pages, whichever came first. And I would start at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I would put together these 10 pages or write for 3 hours, and then in 2 weeks, I had a 100-page manuscript. And when you have 100 pages, you need 50 to 60,000 words for 200-page book. And you're good to go. Now, there's some great ways to publish books yourself now. You still need a copy editor, somebody to look for your typos. You need to let 6 friends read it and mark it up for you. Print it out and let them mark it up. And then you go in and make the changes. Don't let anybody else make the changes for you. Start at the back and start reading forward, each paragraph at a time. And then that's going to slow you down to edit it. And before you know it, you're going to have a book. And Robert and Patty both have used CreateSpace, and Tammy, CreateSpace.com to publish their books, where they can be in a Kindle format or they can be in a book format and print on demand within Amazon, which is CreateSpace.com. So, next question, off-topic question, but recently I moved into a home with a double-end sliding door on the shower. I can't reach the inside of all the shower doors, and I feel like a rubber scrubber. Do you feel a rubber scrubber? Well, let me talk to you about shower doors. Shower doors, they get this soap scum on them. And that soap scum is soap. Soap is soap. So while you're in the shower letting your conditioner, soak in on your hair, you can take a silver rag, a purple rag, an old purple rag, and wipe down the shower 1 square foot at a time and get that soap scum off of there. It will, after about a week of being in there and spending a minute doing it, a minute to 2 minutes while everything is soaking in on your hair, you can have your shower sparkling. Now, doing a little every day is going to get that stuff, and it'll make suds. If you have one of those scrubby things that make lots of suds, rinse it out real good and use that to scrub the shower doors. Another thing you can do is use this mop or your rubber sweeper. It has a squeegee on one side of it that you can use to wipe down the walls. But you do that after you've gotten the soap scum off. Please tell us how you started. I've already answered that one. Okay. So that just makes it so much easier. Now, the habit. Oh, that's been a long time ago, Mary Lee. That was fun. That was a nice book signing in New Orleans. That was fun. Let's see. Oh, don't save your rags because they're pretty. Use them. They really cut down on what you have to spend on paper towels. I barely use paper towels except to get up little stink pickles that the dog leaves me. But we had a visitor dog this week. Justin and Emily and the kids went over to Dollywood, and we got to babysit Miss Molly. And Miss Molly is a Labradoodle. She's a big Labradoodle. I think she was a good teacher for Tulip, because when she needed to go out, she would do a little whine, and she and Tulip would go down the back steps and just have whatever they would play and do their business. So it was good having a visitor dog, because she kind of mothered Tulip, and it was fun to see Tulip learn new things from another dog. We have a boy dog. Loki's a boy dog. So Tulip got to learn from a girl dog. So let the elders teach them. That's all I can say. Do we have another question? Somebody pin a question to the top, Liz. I can't see the questions aren't flying by and I can't see them. Anyone questions? When do you do spring cleaning? Well, we don't. We don't do spring cleaning. My nose is itching. Yep, that worked. Spring cleaning, there's a chapter in Sync Reflections that says you never have to spring clean again. And let me tell you why. If you want to spring clean right now and get your house in order and you've got Passover coming, you got to do that. But most of us, we don't burn wood and we don't burn coal and we don't get soot all over our walls. We don't have to spring clean like that anymore. We don't have to do that. But if you want to get your house in order to be able to get your routines established, your simple habits, string them into routines, then that's a good thing. But you will never have to do it again because with our basic weekly plan, with our zone cleaning, and Sunday we start a new zone, and the zone starts on Sunday, and Sunday's the first of the month, so we're starting with zone 1, and zone 1 is your front porch. Okay, I got a question for everybody out there. I got a question for all of you, and I need you to listen. How many of you still have your Christmas tree up? Yes, you heard me. I want to see an old face come across the screen if you still have your Christmas tree up. That's what I want to see. And I'm not seeing any of them, so that's pretty good. Hey, this is good. Christmas trees are down. Uh-oh, there's one. Did you put Easter eggs on the tree instead of ornaments? Oh, there's another one. But we can't beat ourselves up about it. When Easter's over and you've got the Easter eggs off the tree, then let's put everything away because we don't want to be saying this come, 4th of July. Let's get our Christmas trees down. Promise me you're going to do this next week. I'm going to ask again. I have rooms that aren't defined in the zones. How and when do I do those? Well, with zones, we have, let's just go over the zones. Zone 1 is your front porch, your dining room, and the entrance to your home. It's 3 areas. And then zone 2 is the kitchen. The kitchen gets a full week. This week, zone 1's going to get a full week next month. Then zone 3 is your main bathroom. Now, when you're swishing and swiping every day, your bathroom stays pretty clean, but you need to do a little detail cleaning, and that's all we're doing in the zone cleaning, is we're going to get the baseboards, we're going to wipe the light switches, we're going to, take care of things that don't get taken care of every day. And in zone 3 is when we do one of those other rooms. It can be a basement, it can be a garage, it can be a kid's room, or you can assign the kids to do their rooms. It can be an office, a craft room. It could be like my little studio in here. That's in zone 3. And you don't have to do every room in zone 3 unless you want to do a round robin and do a different room each day as you're doing the main bathroom. And then zone 4 is your master bedroom, your master closet, and your bathroom and your master bedroom. And zone 5 is your living room. Now, I haven't looked at a calendar for next month, but zone 5 in April, there's only 30 days in April, will probably be only about a couple of days. But it will be amazing that as you detail clean each one of these rooms, you start looking for things to clean. Your fans, your light fixtures. In fact, that light fixture needs to be done because it's got something that's died inside it, and I can tell it. And it's a new light fixture. It's probably been up there about a year because I broke the other one because I was wielding a mop handle a little bit too hard and it fell, but I was really glad I had my shoes on. So the zones will keep you from ever having to spring clean again. But if you got company coming Sunday, you're getting panicked. And I don't want you to panic. I want you to put your shoes on. And I want you to set a timer for 15 minutes. And I want you to spend 15 minutes in your kitchen. This is what crisis cleaning is all about. 15 minutes in your kitchen. And get as much stuff done as you can. Start with that sink full of hot soapy water and wipe down your counters. That way you're going to get ready to cook. And then then the next 15 minutes is do 15 minutes in your living room. And that's pick up and put away all the stuff that's in the living room that doesn't belong there and put it where it belongs. Don't just stash and dash in your bedroom and slam the door and lock it from the inside and have to get an ice pick to get the door open. Don't do that. But put things where they belong. Spend 15 minutes. And then spend 15 minutes on your main bathroom, the bathroom that company will use. And then I want you to do the most important part of this crisis cleaning. I want you to rest for 15 minutes. Now, if you need to jump back in and do it all over again, keep going. But only do it 2 or 3 times. But you got to rest. Don't push yourself because you're going to be worn out and you're never going to want to do this again. That's crisis cleaning. Okay. How do I find time to keep up with everything? Routines cleaning when I'm not home and the kids won't incorporate without drill sergeant mama. Well, that's normal. Get over it. Mama's got to be around unless you give them rewards and you can show them that, have some special jobs that need to be done and, put it on a bulletin board and pin $1 to it. That once they get this job done and they can show you that it's done, then they can take the $1. You'd be surprised how much kids will do for money. But they have certain things that they have to do as part of their room and board too. So getting them involved and letting them have fun and not piling on is going to get their involvement. People don't believe me, but we have fly babies who don't even tell anybody in the family that they're doing fly lady. And before they know it, everybody's jumping in and helping because the house looks so good that everybody wants to be a part of it. So try it. Don't tell them you're doing fly. Don't cram fly lady down their throat. I'll never forget, I was in Nashville one time at a homeschooling convention, probably one of the first ones I ever did. And this man came up to me, and we had this big banner over our booth that said, "Are you living in chaos?" It's the banner that I post as a cover on our Facebook page occasionally. And he said, "You're a 4-letter word in our house." And I just looked at him and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I do not allow my wife to say the word fly lady in our house." And then he said, "I'm sorry. I was wrong." And he said, "We really need you to come back." So don't cram fly lady down their throats. Do it for yourself. And you will be surprised how they will jump on board because you're going to quit nagging. You're going to quit fussing at them. You're going to quit playing the martyr because you're going to get things done. Because let's face it, military wives do it all by themselves. Military husbands do it all by themselves if their spouse is deployed. You can do it too. You can get these single mothers have to do things. Widows have to do things. You can do this. You don't need somebody else to help you. You can do it. But you've got to teach your children responsibility. My friend Tammy has a wonderful book, Giving Your Children Wings. That's what we've got to do. We've got to give our children wings so that when they grow up, they won't have to take a course in college called adulting. Do you hear me? You need to train up your child on how to take care of themselves. And this will help you to guide them. But you can't be a nag. You have to do it in love. Okay. Other than by example, how do I get friends to try and not just look at your website? Well, one of the things I have suggested for a long time is a buddy system to help stay accountable. Or maybe somebody doesn't have the internet at home or a smartphone. Maybe it's your mother or somebody who needs to help declutter, who needs help with decluttering their homes. If you'll get on the buddy system and get on the phone and talk to them. They don't have to be on our website. Now, if they've got email, they can get our messages and get our email, and things can change. Or they can get on our Facebook page, but we don't put all our messages on our Facebook page or Twitter. The behavior modification comes in the email. And if you've gotten our email from yesterday, we got this great testimonial where this lady just decided she had wanted to take a break from Fly Lady, and when she took a break, her routine slid. She quit wearing her shoes, and her heels got cracked, and now she's back. She wanted her emails again. It's their behavior modification. We're kind of that little drippy faucet. You see an email come in from Fly Lady, and you think about, okay, what am I cooking for dinner? Or you see a post on Facebook, what Liz is having for dinner, and it's wonderful because we're kind of in your head. We're kind of fly washing you to think about your home, and not in a negative way, in a wonderful way, because your home blesses your family. And when it is clean and orderly, you can have a holiday weekend like this weekend, and you can have fun, and you can teach your children all about what what Passover's about, what Holy Week is about. We can teach them instead of, just showing up at church on Sunday. You set the example for them, and you got to do it in love. Any more questions, everybody? This is fun. I like Liz posting these questions, pinning them. That way I can see, and she can unpin them when I do them. This is good. Yes, the corn is awesome. I'm making scalloped potatoes this year. Let's see. I usually do potato salad. Hey, both of them work for me too. Here's another question. How do I start? It sounds great, but it takes more than 15 minutes to clean up each room in my house. How do I kick this off? Well, you're looking at it the wrong way. You still have to do these other things, but you got to get up and get dressed. You start with shining your sink. I want you to go shine your sink. And what this does, my nose is itching again. What this does is when your sink is that clean and shiny, it's going to change people putting stuff in your sink. Now, you got to empty your dishwasher as well, so you have a place to put the dirty dishes, because if you don't, they're going to be piled up on the counter. So empty your dishwasher, or learn to wash the dishes as you use them. Last night the dishwasher was full of clean dishes, and I was wanting to watch Jeopardy, so I didn't want to put the dishes away, which I should have done. But what I did was I washed up our dishes. It was 2 plates and 2 spoons and 2 knives, and that was it. How do you unstink tennis shoes? I throw them in the washing machine. You can throw them in the washing machine with baking soda and wash them. and then let them set out in the sun and dry. That's how you unstick tennis shoes. When you've got your laundry done, you can do an extra load. It really does. Getting your house in order, even if you don't do your floors every day, if you do them 3 times a week, they're a whole lot better than they were. It's amazing how much stuff you can get done when you have these routines. Start with your shiny sink. Get up every morning and get dressed to lace up shoes. It shouldn't take 15 minutes in each room to clean it up. If so, you're not picking up after yourself. You're leaving a trail, and the kids are leaving a trail. So you got to get the kids involved. So before bed every night, everybody put things away where they belong. And then it's not going to, take all day long to get your house clean. Somebody asked, I just got the office in a bag. Don't you love it? How do you set it up? Well, think about if you got the control journal with you, and that just walks you through the process right there. It's just like a workbook you fill out. Now, if you're going to use it for correspondence, menu planning, and that sort of thing, you need to add some pages and some sheet protectors in there to hold some things. I like to keep cards in mine. You set it up to fit your needs. Are you going to take it to work with you every day so that you can do some things on your lunch hour? That's how you have to do it. We have directions on our website. Look up Office in a Bag. We can go through things. Office in a Bag came when I was a young mother. Now my son's he'll be 44 this year. That's the only thing that makes me feel old, is I have almost a 44-year-old son. But the main thing about the Office in a Bag, I was working 44 hours a week. 44 hours a week. And I needed to go grocery shopping after work or on my lunch hour. We had this nice little country grocery store, and he was a great butcher. And I would bring my ice chest to work, and he would deliver groceries to my office and put them in my ice chest. And it was wonderful but I needed a grocery list, and I needed to be able to call in my grocery list. So there's some fun things you can do. But the Office in a Bag, I kept my checkbook in there. We wrote checks back then. We didn't use our credit cards or our debit cards, but I was able to mail birthday cards, address Christmas cards, because my address book was in there. And now it's in our phones. There was just so much stuff that I could do that I had with me with this Office in a Bag. And it was originally a notebook cover. It's really all it is. You can get a 1-inch 3-ring binder, and it fits in it. Now, if you're in Europe, it's a little different. You may have to purchase one from us, but you just have to contact orders at flylady.net, and Kathy will help you because we keep a supply of them. But that little 1-inch notebook holds everything, and it zips up and has a little short handle on it. I can't get to the one over there without getting up, so I'm not going to get it. But it's a great tool for staying organized, and I have one for emergencies in case I have to grab it and get out of the house if we have a house fire, which we've had in the last 10 years. I was able to get the dogs out with Michelle's help. Robert, actually, he had just retired, and he saved our house because we had 2 fire extinguishers in the basement, and he emptied them on the fire where we got struck by lightning, and it came into the house. So that Office in a Bag really does, it has your control journal, it has your emergency stuff in it. I keep a red one for a holiday control journal. You can have one for different committees that you're on. At one time I was on 17 different committees when I was a county commissioner, and I had a tote bag for a different tote bag, and they hung in that closet right there. A tote bag for every one of them, a different tote bag, and then all I had to do was grab that bag and my purse, and I was good to go. Now, let's see what Terry has to say. Terry, I need advice on downsizing. My husband and I have to move into my aging parents' home. Well, are you selling your house? If you're selling your house, then you're going to have to downsize anyway, and you're going to probably be putting your stuff in storage. You don't want to disrupt your aging parents very much. It's really sad to disrupt their lives, but you've got to go help them. And the main thing you have to remember is, pack up a suitcase, and you're going to be living out of your bedroom and maybe another room in the house, a den that you can call yours. But take the stuff that you love, and that you're going to realize that half the stuff you've got in your house you don't use. So be particular about things. I look at things, and when I'm in the bathroom, what would I want to take with me if I needed to move somewhere? And all of a sudden, things kind of get real clear what I want and what I use every day. So when you're in the bathroom, you got your toothbrush, you got your toiletry bag, and makeup. And not much else. I do have this pretty fish bottle that I love that makes me smile. And I have some small little tokens that are holy metals that I use to count my water, and my little copper cup that I drink out of. So I'd want to take that. And you start looking at the things you really wouldn't want to do without. Now, I have a bunch of pictures on the wall. I love them. They make me happy. But not all of them would go with me. 2 of them definitely would. Well, maybe 3 of them. No, 4 of them. But they just hang on the wall with a piece of command hook. And I got a hawk and a pretty rose, and why not today sign. That kind of gets my butt up and moving. And my favorite Bible verse, Hebrews 11:1. Those things mean something to me. They make me happy. I have some just little things that bring joy to my life, and I like to have those things around me all the time. Now, downsizing, just think of going to a condo on vacation. You carry everything you need in a suitcase. Well, if you're really downsizing, you could probably do it in 2 or 3 suitcases. One of the greatest testimonials we ever got was from a fellow who I think it was a fellow whose great aunt passed away. And he was able to pack up everything she owned in 3 boxes. 3 boxes. And it fit in the trunk of his car. And she didn't associate with things. She associated her life with people. She loved people. Now, when we don't have to take care of all this stuff, like spend 15 minutes cleaning every room in your house, you don't have to do that. When you've got routines, you build habits. We build a habit a month. And speaking of habits, our next month's habit is making your bed. Yep. Making your bed. I got to jump back on the bandwagon. My bed's not made right now. I kind of got hot last night, and so I let it air out today, and I hadn't made it. I'm going to jump back in it in a little bit and make it so I can go to bed tonight. I have to make it before I go to bed. That's the rule. But that's our next month's habit, making your bed every day. And seeing that made bed is going to make you feel good, because your bed being made is the shiny sink of your bedroom. Every room has its own little shiny sink. Think about it. Your bathroom mirror and your bathroom sink is the shiny sink of your bathroom. Your made bed is one thing. Your coffee table being clear in the living room is another shiny sink. So let's see. M has a question. How do I let things go when they are special only to you and trash to someone else? Silly, sentimental objects that I feel keep alive memories. Well, one of the things you can do is take pictures of them, like the kids' science projects and different things. Take pictures of them. You can build a collage of those things. It's okay to keep some things. It's okay to keep some ugly things if they give you good memories. We got a testimonial one time from a lady who got into a panic in the middle of the night. She thought she had thrown away this one item. She thought she had decluttered it. And she got into a panic. And that one thing was a skillet. Not an iron skillet, but a metal skillet that had been used against her. Somebody hit her in the ribs with it. And she was able to take the blow because she had learned to defend herself and prepare her body for it. She wasn't ready to let it go. She found it. She got up from this panic and she found it underneath her bed in a grocery bag. She wasn't ready to let that go because that one skillet was a memory to her that prepared her to get out of a bad relationship. It was her badge of honor. Eventually, she may let it go, but she didn't have to. Don't get rid of anything that you feel like is going to take away part of you. I don't want you decluttering so much that you feel, I'll just say it, that you feel like you've been abused. Because going in to your parents' house to try to help them declutter is just going to make them feel bad because they don't have their stuff. You can help them get rid of the things and you can work with them, but don't take everything. It would be wrong. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to you, but we can do it ourselves much better. I'll never forget one time we got a call from Oprah's people many years ago, and they were doing a show where a lady looked like $1 million when she walked out of her house. Looked like $1 million, but she was living with, and here I'm going to talk about it, puppy dogs pooping on the floor. Well, I got a puppy dog that poops on the floor, but you can't find any poop in my house because I have a nose and I can smell when it happens, and those little stink pickles go away right quick. But this lady had a bird flying around her house. She hadn't clipped its feathers so it wouldn't fly. She did everything, but she looked like $1 million when she walked out the door. And they wanted me to come in and clean the house for her. And I said, you're not doing her any favors. If she doesn't do it herself, it's going to be back messy again in 6 weeks. It's all about establishing these habits, stringing them into routines so that they last a lifetime. And sure enough, they got 2 English ladies to come over here and help her clean her house and berate this poor woman. And I cried the whole time watching the show because you can't treat people like that. You can't treat people like that at all. And it broke my heart for her. It really broke my heart for her. Now, Oprah eventually apologized, which I thought was really good. And they got her the help she needed because she was depressed. Her husband had died. She was divorced. But anyway, she didn't have a husband. And that's when we're at our worst. It's when it's just us. Why do it? Nobody's going to see the house. Well, you deserve to live in a house that blesses you. You deserve to have a home that you can open the door at any time and not be ashamed for somebody to walk in your house. You deserve this. This is the best gift you can ever give yourself. If you will start practicing these simple habits that we focus on each month. I want you to have peace this next year. And this peace comes from practicing these simple habits, and quit beating yourself up. Love yourself. That's what flying is all about. Finally, loving yourself. Because when you love yourself, you're not going to let yourself be abused. You're not going to beat your own self up with the words you've heard in the past coming through your head. That's what mine and Leanne's book, Body Clutter, is all about, is eliminating the clutter that's in here. That's the hardest thing to do, is to get rid of those negative voices that have been beating you up your whole life. You had to hear those words somewhere. As my granny would say, "Are you still fat, honey?" "Yep." In heaven, "Yep, Granny, still fat. But hey, I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. I have a beautiful home. It's not a large home. It's a simple house on a mountaintop. I got a view of Mount Pisgah and the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I am blessed beyond blessed. Because I look for those silver linings. I look for the good in things. I look to see what I can do for 2 minutes. I was cooking eggs this morning, and what did I do while the eggs... Oh, I got all the flies that Robert killed yesterday. I got all the flies up and thrown away. That's what I did while my eggs were cooking. It takes about 3 minutes for my eggs to cook, and I took care of it. I don't want to look at those dead flies. Yuck. Yuck. My house looks good. The UPS guy could come today, and I could let him in. Not that he'd come in, but occasionally if it's been raining real hard, I make him come in. Not stand at the door and do what he has to do. He's been through a lot with us. I get close to all my UPS guys. I go back 20 years, and I name them every one. Tim and Bubba. When you can let somebody in your door and not be afraid of how they're going to react to your home, that's the best gift of all. When you can have a party or a big celebration or a dinner and not be stressed out over it. When you can make Easter baskets for all the grandchildren and you do it a week ahead of time because you're organized. Simple little things. But they get strung into routines. And these routines save you from the stress of having to spend 15 minutes in every room in your house. I do this 5-minute room rescue. I can get 5 minutes, 5-minute room rescue done. It's all done. Well, y'all, I've gone 8 minutes over. I can't imagine me being too bossy to get off of here. But I'll get this uploaded to YouTube for those that are not on Facebook. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. But we have a YouTube page, and we have a new section on our website. On the home page, it's called Fly Lady Live. So check that out. I try to put this up every week. And Liz posted on Facebook so we can share it and keep it going around. And if you know somebody that needs help, tell them to sign up for our emails and become their buddy. Just become their buddy, and y'all work together. It's a great way to do things. I love you all. Y'all have a wonderful Easter and Passover. And I'll see you next week. I really will. You never know. I might come on some other time, but it'll definitely be same bat channel next Thursday. Love you. See you later.